In a world filled with conflict, in a universe comprised of differences, there's one thing that absolutely everything shares in common. We all exist. Including two guys named Jack and Michael, who like to chat about that very thing over a good cup of coffee. Let's pay them a visit, shall we?
Existence Brewing.
Macchiato.
They'll kick you out for rocking to this song. If you rock out to this, they'll kick you out. I've done it. Don't do it.
It's the FIFA Macchiato.
Oh my God. I got to think up an acronym for that as far as how about I don't know. How about I'll think of something. You have a family member who's really into soccer, though. One of your daughters really loves soccer, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. And we've actually been watching it together. I actually prefer the FIFA tournament over the Olympics. I just find it more engaging.
That's what they're making it. That's the whole. I've said that to a number of people who are annoyed to death with it. No one. Sorry. I know this is another area where we differ, probably because you have children and I don't. But no one could be more annoyed by it than me because, as you know, I hate hype. And it's just and also the history of soccer in the United States is just, it's obvious. It's just, that was the moment that was one of the big things that's the tell about. They decided what was popular. It used to be they let us decide what was popular, and they scrambled to figure out in R&D centers and laboratories everywhere. Oh, let's make this flavor. Oh, let's popularize this sport. Let's put this, or let's do this movie. And then finally, somebody stood up at the board meeting one day and said, "This is ridiculous. They don't decide anything. We decide what's popular." Because they tried to make soccer popular in the 70s in the States, didn't happen. And then in the 80s. Let's make it like a hockey rink and we'll play on AstroTurf with a red ball that looks like a ladybug and there'll be more action. And no, fans not having it. And then finally one day, sometime in the late 90s or early 2000s, I wake up one day and in soccer news today, and it leads off. I'm like, what the hell is this? When the fuck did this happen? I missed the memo about soccer becoming popular in the United States. So yeah, they're also appealing to the Latino demographic. I also feel because they're greedy. There is a they, and they are greedy, and they just couldn't sit on 3.5 major sports. Hockey's kind of half because, it's sort of Canadian and only so many people are interested in it here, but they just couldn't do their baseball, basketball, football. They had to have another cash cow. And so they're milking a game that's already invented and is popular in the world over. So anyway, but that's just me. So.
It has a very loyal audience, and they can sell you a jersey to go along with it.
But it is the new Olympics.
It is. And anything that they can sell you a jersey to go along with anything, it's going to be an instant hit in corporate America.
Like I said, I know you have a fan in the house, and then you have to deal with me. So I won't go off unabashed against soccer, but
no, I think it's definitely,
to say the least. I am not. I cannot wait for this to be over.
Well, and it's just always one of those things. Like you said, hype is a good word for it, and it kind of consumes our being for a while, and then it goes away, and there's a brief time when somebody goes, "Oh, okay, when's the next one?"
Well, I have a theory about soccer, too, that I'll just share for what it's worth, and then I'll put the stool away.
Is this a spoiler alert?
No, it's not. I don't think it's a spoiler, but as you know, the game of soccer has been the centerpiece of various riots over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And it is Hank Hill on an episode of King of the Hill, a.k.a. the line probably written by Mike Judge himself, who was the voice of said character, very eloquently said in his own disapproval of the game as far as his son's association with it was concerned in the show. Bobby, soccer was created by European housewives to pass the time while their husbands foraged and hunted for food. So while I can't necessarily disagree with that historical perspective, mine is slightly different. I think soccer was invented to pass the time until a riot breaks out, because the game is so boring that you can't help but riot eventually. And that's why we've seen so many soccer riots in the past, is because people get so bored that mayhem is the only solution in the fandom world. So anyway, I just never been a fan. And but I'm glad you're getting a kick out of it. Oh man, they should coin that one. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Slide that in there. Dairy Queen's probably waiting, why didn't we think of that? So probably some low-lying fruit company now. What happened to Dairy Queen? They're Brazier back east, but back here in the West, they're Dairy Queen. Like, what the hell happened to them?
Brazier? What, tell me the story on this. I don't know the story on this.
You don't know that they're called Braziers back east?
No, I didn't.
A lot of things are different back east than here. Like out here in the West, we have Carl's Jr. That's Hardee's back east. There's no Carl's Jr. in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, or Virginia, or Savannah, Georgia. You drive through there, that's a Hardee's with the star winking at you. That's not Carl's Jr. So it's kind of like, do you know the deal about Dreyer's ice cream? Same deal. Out West, it's Dreyer's ice cream, and back east, it's Edie's ice cream. Edie's ice cream.
No.
It's been that way for years.
No.
So it's all part of marketing.
Is
it's
that
all
like an
part
east
of
the Mississippi, west of the Mississippi thing?
It's all part of, let's go to the boardroom, shall we? Let's drop in on the corporate boardroom at the ice cream company. Well, if we go Dreyer's all across the board, then it'll seem like we're only milking one cow, if you get me. If we just split the Mason-Dixon line right down the middle, Charlie, if we just use the Mississippi River as that north-south divider, and we say it's Dreyer's to the west of that and Edie's everywhere to the east, we're going to get double the exposure points, because it looks like two companies, and it's not. And they're allowed to do this, of course. And so,
it's brilliant, sir. Brilliant.
Gelatinous cube eats village. I think it's terrific.
I do, too. I couldn't agree more, Robbie.
I wanted to play a game with you, or, I wanted to do maybe like a little quiz with you.
Quizzing me. Every so often, Michael quizzes me.
I like to quiz you.
Reason.
Yeah, you're kind of a savant in some regards when it comes to certain things. And so I wanted to play this 80s TV commercial jingle quiz with you.
Oh, all right.
And see if you could actually name these.
Just so I'm clear, you play a piece. This is like Name That Tune, only it's Name That 80s TV jingle. You play just a fraction, just a snippet of an excerpt from the television commercial jingle, and then I have to quickly zoom back to the day when I was little and coiled up in front of the TV and letting it expunge my brain.
Eating a Dairy Queen dip cone.
Yeah, exactly. Probably was more like a Pop-Tart or a bowl of Frosted Flakes. Do you remember banana Frosted Flakes? They made those for a while. Anyway, all right. I'm game. I'm down. Let's go.
All right, I'm going to drop the needle. Are you ready?
Okay, drop it.
Days looking new and bright, and you're gonna start
Folgers.
Yep, you got it. That was number one. All right, number two.
Kiss a little longer, stay close a little longer, tight a little longer.
Big red gum.
Yes, he is good. Number three, here we go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, give me a break.
Kit Kat.
Yes, congratulations. Man, that was easy. All right, number four.
Hot Pockets.
Oh, that's so easy. So easy. Give me a little.
I'm on a roll, ladies and gentlemen, proving yet again what a product of Western society over decades of mashing in front of
savant.
This is what it looks like.
All right, here he goes. Number five.
It's Mentos. The Fresh Maker.
Yeah, the Fresh Maker.
I wanted to wait until there was a few. I knew it immediately, but I wanted to wait until there was a few.
Yeah, well, and the commercials on the the Mentos were always so bad. People just walking around sharing them with strangers. All right, number 6. Here we go.
Madison's weirded out by Mentos. Double mint gum.
Yeah, that was easy.
I mean, they say half the product name and the thing, so that one's
double. All right, and I think we got 2 more left here.
David Hasselhoff dated both those twins, by the way.
Oh gosh. All right, number 7. Here we go.
Shining friend, shining bright. Make a sign to say goodnight. Turn on the magic of shining.
It's Light Bright.
Light
Turn on
bright.
the magic of colored light. Light
Colored
bright. Light
lights.
bright. Turn on the magic of colored light. That's the death metal version I always hope to do. So yeah.
With an incandescent bulb in there. Don't leave it on, kids. You'll burn your house down.
Before I even heard about Stephen Greer's, decades before Stephen Greer's CE5 protocols, I used to use the Light Bright to try to contact aliens from. No fooling. I took my sister's Light Bright outside at night and shined it up in the heavens and was like, "Come visit, come." So it's true. I tried to use a Light Bright to summon extraterrestrial beings into our dimension.
With the smiley face and an incandescent
All right, so this is
light
it.
bulb.
This is number 8.
All right, number 8. Here we go.
Alka-Seltzer.
That was
Which,
so
by the way,
easy.
is one of the oldest television jingles on. It's the oldest one on the whole reel because that plop plop deal goes back to the 60s. I want to say
it does.
So was that it?
No, I got 2 more. I think. Here we go.
2 more. Yeah.
You're on a roll. All right, number 9.
Great.
Just for the fun of it, just for the heck
Diet
of
Coke.
It, just for the taste of it, just for the love of it, just for the
Diet Coke. Oh, we're just letting it go because.
Yeah. I mean, most people aren't savants like you, so they have to have a few more.
Remember, I also
stanzas.
work in the media industry.
Yeah.
I listen to commercials all fucking day.
Diet
out of one
Coke.
ear, so.
Look at that. Okay, number 10. Here we go. I think that's McDonald's, isn't it?
Yeah.
You deserve a break today?
Yeah, one of many McDonald's jingles, though, because they had several campaigns. That one wasn't ringing a bell. I would need to have heard more of it, but.
Oh, it was McDonald's.
Oh, okay. Well, you got the last one. I went
got the
9
last
for 10.
point. Sorry.
Of course you would get McDonald's.
Of course I would. That's the way my...
You know what? Do you see what we were just talking about last episode?
What's that?
It's the one television commercial like chain. It's the one company that advertised that my conscious mind refused to pay attention to. I blocked out the McDonald's.
You did.
Either that or I've gone and scrubbed it after the fact.
You blocked out the golden arches.
Although I admittedly really do like the Mac Tonight guy. If you know your 80s commercials, when McDonald's decided to leave their drive-through window open until like 3 a.m. for all the potheads, which is really the reason they did it. So Taco Bell, you weren't the first to think of it. Sadly, McDonald's got to it years before. But that Moon guy that was playing the piano, I really liked him. I hated that he worked for McDonald's, but I really liked Mac Tonight.
Yeah, Mac Tonight. That was a good one. I like it. All right, are we ready to hit him with the ventilation or what? You want to go into a ventilation?
I mean, there's something that is probably going to bring out some ire in me, but I think we'll skip the formality this week because to me, this is just something that we could talk about.
Well,
I'll dish on how it bothers me, but only because it's this is going to let people more into the psyche of Jack Hansen and his difficulty being here sometimes.
Okay, so let's finish up the little quiz show by talking a little bit about why 80s music 80s jingles were so popular, or I guess memorable.
All right.
Okay, so there you go. And you proved the point that I was trying to make, which was that one, Jack is a savant of 80s pop culture, and two, the power of the earworm. That's what makes those jingles so memorable. And I think that that's probably one of those quintessential. I think they did it in the 90s as well, but I kind of feel like maybe like around 2000, the ad campaigns shifted from like a jingle-based to more like character-based to where like you don't really even know what it is that you're watching when you're watching Flo on the television, but you just know that she's a progressive commercial spokeswoman? You know what I mean?
Flo is no doubt a highly demonic or satanic entity from an extra dimension that is in the lowest of the astral.
Who do you think would win, Linda Blair forth. Or Flo?
God, I would hope Linda Blair would kick her ass. I've been waiting for Flo to get run over by a dump truck for fucking decades now. And it's interesting that this should come up because my soapbox about this already. Insurance is
companies.
A legal criminal enterprise. I don't have to go on the whole rant, but in short, it's a legal criminal enterprise. It's also boring as fuck. You're not paying for anything. You literally are buying nothing. And I don't care. Your agent is going to tell you the same thing my agent always did. Well, you're not buying nothing, Jack. You're buying peace of mind. Well, peace of mind is something that I can't display in a glass case above my mantle, or next to my television set or in my trophy room or on my desk. I can't wear it. I can't drive it anywhere. I can't put it on a leash and walk it down to the beach. I can't eat it. I can't shit it out even the next day after I've eaten it. I can't get drunk on it. I can't get high on it. I can't think on it. I can't read it. I can't do anything with it. It's a fucking joke. You don't do anything. It's nothing. You're buying air. So you're buying nothing. So therefore, commercials for a product that is in fact nothing, intangible sensibilities, should be boring as fuck. And they used to be. Every single commercial for insurance used to feature a set of grandparents that were way past their years on the front lawn with their grandchildren running around with a paper airplane. And that was it. And that's all it ever should have been. And it's funny because I remember just earlier today, life is so serendipitous as it relates, so synchronistic as it relates to this podcast, because I was just thinking, hadn't thought of it for years, never wanted to, but this was coming and I didn't know it at the time. So now I know why I thought of it. I remembered the very first domino that fell in the let's make insurance commercials fun tragedy that has been unfolding for decades now. And it was a Geico commercial, and it was before the gecko, and was before those fucking cavemen that got their own TV show that lasted about as long as Mantis did on Fox. It was this commercial that parodied the old Pepsi challenge from the 1970s and 80s, those television commercials where you'd have a blind taste test with randos that would be going into the store. Tell us which of these colas you like. It was a guy that was drinking something, and it was, well, tell us which of these you like. This one's really bad. And then, Geico. And it made no sense because, of course, as we all know, you can't taste insurance until you literally are forced to vomit because of how much they've ripped you off when they won't cover the tornado that smashed through your home because they've decided that you're not covered for whatever reason. You can't taste insurance. So there is no taste test for it. But that was the gag was, well, let's try this on them and we'll see. And of course, stupid American audiences everywhere went wild for it and went, this is funny. It's for insurance, but it's like not for insurance. It's awesome. And the world's been changed for the worst ever since. So yeah, I remember that commercial well. Can you find that commercial?
Yeah, I was just going to actually go into this a little bit because evidently Flo was an accident. Did you know that?
Jesus, does she look like an accident to you? I would think so. Yeah, she's a fucking
Did you know
accident.
that Flo was never supposed to be a part of Progressive? Stephanie Courtney is the actor behind the Geeky Insurance Nerd. In 2007, she auditioned for a commercial for Progressive. She would later get the role, obviously, and her first commercial as Flo would premiere in 2008. However, Flo wasn't meant to stick around after that first commercial. Progressive had no plan to have any brand icon at the time. But Jeff Charney, Progressive chief marketing expert, saw something no one else saw. He said,
he's on the
we
death
realized
list.
she had something special. She was a character with real character. That character was completely unplanned, but we saw it and we jumped on it. In the decade since Flo's debut, Progressive's business has more than doubled from $13.6 billion in 2008 to nearly $30 billion today. More importantly, Flo conquered the steep task of making insurance seem actually fun to buy.
Wow. And there she was, the evolution of Flo.
I don't know if that was the vlogger or whether those were the actual words from the marketing chair for Progressive Insurance. But if they were the actual words from the marketing chair, whatever the fuck his name was,
right,
Jeff. She's a character with real character.
Fuck,
I'm fucking sold.
With real character.
Man, say no more, Jeff. I'm there. Hey, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go get a bite to eat that you can really eat? And then after that, we'll go get a drink that you can really drink. Their psychologist went to work, see? And this is the diabolical side of things, is what they're not saying, is flow is no accident. Because flow is market tested to no fucking end. Flow is put in front of, like Timmy and Tommy and Billy and Bobby and Susie and, Jill for hours and hours and hours and hours ad nauseum. And they're taking data and they're hooking people up to fucking brainwave machines and reading the data. That's how into figuring out how to broach your psychology, to breach your mind, the gray matter that makes up your mind, to be able to figure out whether you're going to spend dollar bills on what they're selling. And they're selling nothing. When you're selling insurance, you are selling an intangibility. You are selling air. Nothing. Peace of mind, fuck it. That's an intangible. You're not really getting anything. I don't go to bed at night stroking my furry, soft insurance policy. That's not the way that it works. So they're at a loss for how to make this approachable. And then they figured out what we do is we reverse it. And so the very first commercial I remember was that Geico spot where they turned it into a tangibility for fun. Let's do the old Pepsi challenge like the guy's taste testing insurance. But we all know, of course, you can't taste insurance, but it'll be fun. And so that was the turning point right there. And not a good one for the American public either in our history. But
Denise Basic is a real Geico customer, not a paid celebrity. So to help tell her story, we hired a celebrity.
It was Thanksgiving night when I accidentally hit a deer.
Whoa, look out, look out!
I called Geico expecting to get a recording, but someone was there to help me.
Little Richard.
Help me! Somebody help me!
Geico got my claim in the works right away, and I was actually able to enjoy my Thanksgiving.
Mashed potatoes, gravy, and cranberry sauce! Woo!
Geico. Real service, real savings.
I think watching you squirm while listening to that is probably one of the best things about that commercial.
Yeah. Never really had anything against Little Richard before that went down. He fell many notches. In fact, man. I almost want to say I hope he's in hell burning for that feat alone right now. But yeah, the more we uncover, the more foreboding. It's like The Omen. It's like Gregory Peck kept getting warned, don't fucking go down this road. Stop looking up things about your son. He is the devil, but just let it go. Let it be. Let him be Satan. Let him grow up. Let him be the president. Let nuclear war happen. Just let it go, and you can live. You live a posh life. He was like some high-ranking liaison to some attaché to some foreign minister or something, as I recall in that movie, and he just kept going down there. And more, the signs got more and more ominous. Greg, you're fucking up. You're going to lose your eyebrows, and then you're going to lose the rest of your body if you're not good. And sure enough, in the end, he gets shot, and the kid lives because they catch him trying to stab a dagger into him, and they don't understand why. Well, that'd be the same thing. If like they made a movie about us looking into the background of this person we're referring to, it'd be the same thing. It'd be like, don't go down that road, because the more that you go down that road, the more like forbidden the knowledge is going to be, and the more grave the chances are you're going to be killed by some powerful force.
Like get caught in the rabbit hole, like Alice in Wonderland or something.
Speaking of The Omen,
yes.
I was the part in the churchyard, because everyone in the movie died. That was very much the forerunner to the Final Destination franchise, because everybody in the movie Omen was, except for Gregory Peck, who was shot by the police, everyone else was killed by an invisible force, which was supposed to be this hand of Satan that's running around making potted plants fall on people's heads, and brakes come undone so that it can decapitate, guys that are looking into it and getting too close to the devilish secret with a pane of glass off the back of a truck. And there were all these unfortunate accidents that kept happening. The guy that got cut in half by the elevator, I think that was in number 2, not number 1. Anyway, the one that always made an impression upon me, and I saw that movie when I was way too young, by the way, and enjoyed the hell out of it because sadly it made a lot of sense. It hit home for some reasons with a guy like me, especially the like throwing a fit enough, being apoplectic enough before going to church to actually get them to turn around. Because that's exactly like how I felt when I was a little boy too. It's like, no, I don't want to go in here. The wafers taste weird and they make me drink wine. The part where the priest is in the yard and lightning strikes something on the roof and it impales him. Just goes right through his midsection and sticks him in the ground. And from that moment on, I was just like, I turned to my mom, I swear I remember this, and be like, you know what, Mom? That's how I'm going out. I'm going to be impaled. And it's going to be epic. It's not going to be just during the accident, Jack suffered a number of traumatic injuries, including one that perhaps was the death knell, which, was the engine block going through his chest. No, it's going to be like that. They're going to find me in the morning looking just like that guy, nailed like out in front of a 7-Eleven or something. Like, what the hell happened? Like, no one will know, but it'll be the most epic, like impaling death of modern times. Yeah. So
you set your sights high, don't you, Jack?
Well, look, it's quick. It makes a statement. It's just like, here I am. I'm dead already. Look at this, So I like it.
I don't really remember The Omen. The only thing I remember about The Omen was when the ladies at the zoo.
Oh, and the animals all freaked out because they could see that he was the devil.
Freaking out. That's the only thing I remember of that whole movie.
Those movies were ridiculous. That's the sort of the bow of the wave of that whole satanic panic thing that later flowed into the 90s before it finally ebbed, and then everything was Satanist, by the time the late 90s got around, and it was okay. I mean, hell, that one guy was selling sneakers with a drop of human blood in them a few years back. I remember when that came out, and they had like, the upside down pentagram on them and everything. I mean, Satan sells now. It's just like, it's the devil. No big deal. People aren't afraid of him. He's just another marketing gag. So
there's tennis shoes that have human blood in them.
Yes. Some rapper, as you can imagine, was the purveyor of this. He had some deal with Yeezy or one of these shoe companies, and he came out with a limited edition line, and I want to say they were like the something or other, Dr. Yo 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 or whatever. I don't know. It's like the 666 Satan shoes, and they were said. What is it?
Lil Nas X.
Okay, fine. And the soles of the shoes were red, and they were supposed to have actual drops of human blood within them. They were made with blood, and then of course they came out and said, oh, it's just a marketing gag. There's actually not blood in there. And then, of course, a lot of people tied to the whole Illuminati thing were like, well, yes, there is. Why would they say that? I mean, that's nothing compared to what those people do. But
a settlement was reached in July of 2021, which required them to offer refunds to anyone any of the buyers who wished to return their shoes. So, of course, they're going to become collector's items immediately because of that.
Yeah.
Whole deal.
Pretty much. Exactly. You're right on the money.
Oh, man.
Because there's nothing that's going to make you like more athletic on the handball court or, run a faster mile than a couple drops of human blood in the soles of your fucking kicks, right? I mean, like, what else is going to make me the track star of the future? I mean, I'm literally going to be the next Florence Griffith Joyner because I have human blood in the soles of my shoes. That's the secret ingredient. Everybody knows that. Why they didn't do it sooner, I don't know.
That is wild. Yeah, there's a pentagram right there on the laces.
Oh yeah, they were all Sataned up. The whole thing was deviled out.
Oh my gosh. How is it that I'm just now reading about this? Yeah, these were released in 2021 by Nike.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I would be to me, their swoosh is vastly more representative of something which is evil and tyrannical and, like the underworld than anything you could put on the shoe that's a traditional symbol of Satan. Keep your upside down crosses and your pentagrams and all your bullshit. I mean, the Nike swoosh is about as devilish a fucking symbol as it gets, if you ask me. By the way, I own about 60 pairs of shoes because it's part of my shopping and clothing habit. 0 pairs of Nike. It's another brand that I absolutely will not wear. And yes, I'm sure some of the other brands I own are just as, wrong or bad or, for a lot of the same reasons. I don't care. I will never put a Nike swoosh on my body, ever.
Okay, so that's
happen.
where this settlement came into to play, is Nike sued the manufacturer for trademark infringement because they used Nike shoes, and they were custom shoes, but they used the Nike shoes and the brand to as like the cornerstone of the product. So
yeah, they were telling the truth is what they were doing. They were basically trying to out Nike for being the most Satanist, one of the bunch in the whole shoe world, because they no doubt are. The devil wears Prada. I'm sure the devil wears Nikes.
Now this is really starting to get me fascinated. I wonder if we can find a pair of these shoes on eBay, and I wonder how much they are.
I'm sure you can find just about anything on eBay. What are they called?
MSCHF Nike.
Those shoes get crazy too. MSCHF?
Yeah. MSCHF Nike.
Well, there's like Gobstomper, Sour Edition, X Crocs, Big Yellow. There's all kinds. Jimmy Fallon Edition.
Okay, so here we go. These are the these are the MSCHF Lil Nas X Air Max 97 Satan shoes.
I got a size 10, which would not fit me, vastly too small in front of me. That's only at $153, ready to close in an hour and a half.
Well, I've got a size 11.5 in front of me that's best offer or buy it now for $1,175.
I'm seeing them range everywhere from a few hundred to a few thousand. Yes.
Interesting.
And they're adorned with that pentagram you talked about. Is a lace. It's called a lace charm. So it's not the laces that form a pentagram. It's an actual charm that hangs off the laces. I have a pair of shoes that have some charms on the laces. So it's a gold metal, upside down inverted pentagram inside of a circle with several sigils on the outside of it. And it adorns the laces. So most of them are in the thousands of dollars. Most people are wanting at least $1,000. I'm seeing some as high as $9,000. This guy wants $9,000 for his. I don't know what makes his so special.
Maybe he put his blood on him.
Who knows? But yeah, true story. So if you didn't know about those shoes, well then there you go. Actually, this person wants $6,666.66, which is just clever. Gosh, I wonder where he got that idea. One idiot wants $7,000 straight up for a size 10.5 that are new in the box. This person wants $3,500. Most of them are between $1,000 and $2,000. And like I said, there are some lower end ones that appear maybe to have been worn, which of course we would never want to wear our shoes. That ruins the value, right? So.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, those are some of the ugliest shoes I think I've ever seen.
They are not attractive shoes. You can say, I wouldn't touch them just for the swoosh alone. They're, like I said, that's a logo that I stay away from because to me that is sacrilegious. The Satan shoes contain about 60 cubic centimeters of red ink and a single drop of real human blood in the soles. So that is their claim. CNN confirmed apparently that the blood was donated by members of the collective and gathered over a week using at-home glucose test needles.
Gross.
So this appears to have been verified. There is one human drop of blood in the soles of those sneakers. Because, as I said, that's the secret ingredient. Yeah.
Yes, they're soles.
Soles. I am never one to consider collectability. I do not collect things because they're collectible. I purchase things for one reason and one reason only, and all things in my life, except for essentials except for sundries that I have to have. It's because they appeal to me visually or some other way. They are interesting to me, and so I want them, and that's it.
That's cool.
If they happen to be collectible, good for me if I ever go to sell it. If they don't, who cares? I mean, and this is again where we get into, wow, I remember I bought those new for $200, and I've got a pair right now. Actually, I've got a pair of Cole Haans. They're rare too. Like I can't find any listings anywhere for them. They're like Python print, but they're done really well. It's not cheesy. It's like a dark blue, and there's just a slight little metallic over them. They're really neat, and it's not a print. It's like an embossing, so it looks like actual snake, which I wouldn't wear because I'm not going to kill a snake to put on my feet. I know I'll wear cows on my back and feet, and people will say, well, what's the difference? It's like, well, I just, I stop with the snake kingdom, I guess. But anyway, I mean, I've had those online for months asking, I'm down to like $129 on those, and I must have paid easily $250 for those because Cole Haan at the time was a really higher end brand, but they've kind of come down the rung since then. But it's one of those things. It was like at the time I really wanted them, and now, years later when I've never worn them, or I've worn them once, I think, and I just don't want them anymore. It's like I'm not going to get near my money out of it. But that's, that's the break. That's Jupiter 2.
Yeah.
It's Jupiter's second house. You have Jupiter's second house. So
I do.
You should know what I'm dishing.
And I kind of feel like, too, like the reason I collect things is not necessarily because it's valuable. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people, I have family members who the first thing out of their mouth is, well, how much is it worth? And
me, to the rest of the world.
Exactly. See, like that's the way I look at it too, is it's like that doesn't even like factor into like, to me it's priceless because the enjoyment that I get, and I think music, to me, collecting music is probably the number one thing that I collect. Is it's almost like having that tangible product, having something musically audible that you can listen to and enjoy with other people. That's what makes it cool to me. And I say cool not because you're trying to like get affirmation from somebody else, but because you just enjoy the way that you appreciate the music. Right.
Yeah, and you just want to own a physical copy of it. And there's a lot of people that don't get that. Why would you own all this, wax or all this plastic when you can just download it? I mean, because I want the physical item. I want something to experience. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I totally get it. I mean, you're talking to Mr. CD. I've had thousands and thousands of them have come, and thousands of them have gone over the years.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know how many. Here's the sad thing, though. My living straits have been either in flux or been apartmentalized for so long now. My CDs have all been in boxes for 9 years now.
Yeah,
the last time my CDs were out on a display in the shelf was my library, and it was in my old house, and we had my library custom made.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I've got pictures of it I can show you. I mean, it wasn't a big space, but we put like an Imperador marble floor with a medallion in the middle, and the shelves were all custom made by this carpenter that my ex-wife knew. And I found these dragons that we stained the same color and put up, and it was choice. It was really cool. But that was the last time they were all on shelves, and that was 9 years ago. Ever since then, they're all in boxes, and that's how I live now. Just I get stuff in, or I get hundreds in every year, and they just go in boxes and they stack up. And that's not as satisfying, obviously. And some people, and even me included, would ask, why would you want to do that? And sometimes it does get to be just like, why are you spending all this money and investing all this money just to put it in a box and forget about it? And it's like, well, because I don't forget about it. I know that it's there. And then sometimes when I go through the boxes, I get lots of surprises because it's like, oh yeah, I know this one. Or, oh man, I didn't realize I had that. Or, so it's crazy.
I have found myself going back to CDs recently, not just because, I started with CDs when they were popular and they were a mass media, but I found myself going back to CDs because when you go to estate sales or to yard sales, people pass the CDs and they go directly to the vinyl. And so then I found myself going back to CDs because people were passing them up, and it was like, ooh, there might be a niche here. And I found the same thing with classical music. I started listening and studying classical music because I found that people passed it over because they were immediately going to the Led Zeppelin and Creedence Clearwater and Pink Floyd rack of vinyl records. And then there was a whole bunch of records over here in this pile that nobody was touching. And it was because they were classical music and nobody really listened to that. And so then it was like, ooh, there's an opportunity. So then I started studying classical music, and really it became kind of like, okay, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. And so this is what I'm going to start collecting, because now I know the difference between this and this and that and that.
I don't have a current count because I quit keeping a library, unfortunately, years ago. And that's one of the things that I'd like to do if I'm ever able to display my CDs again, is I'll get a new inventory going. I would estimate that I've got to have somewhere around 5,000 CDs, possibly more, possibly a few less, but I would guess the number's right around 5,000. I would say I have a tenth of the amount on vinyl, maybe about 400 or 500 records. Regardless of the disparity in the numbers formatically, if you took the top 10 most valuable things from my collection right now, if you just went in there and literally said, okay, this would be number one, this is number two, as far as, eBaying it or just somebody out there that wants it, either 9 or all 10 of those 10 items would be compact discs. So
really?
Yeah, don't sleep on the compact discs, because people just don't get it. Because the problem that most people have is that people are mainstream with their music.
Yeah.
And if you're mainstream with your music, okay, yeah, there's some very, very, very rare one-off kind of things from popular artists, but it's going to be like, I know it's a Britney Spears or something from that ilk. It's that kind of camp.
Mm-hmm.
And it's some kind of single. There's even a Taylor Swift one, I think, God forbid. But there's something, it's in that camp. It's in that pop, just shit, 21st century radio garbage pile for me as musically. But it's like some kind of really obscure one-off that they only sent to radio stations, and they only made like 3. And then they decided to go a different way. So only these 3 have that cover, or they only these 3 have that version. It's the only place you can get the, mega maxi pad mix of some fucking song that one of them did or something. And so in those cases, you're talking about thousands of dollars in some cases for those CDs, and they are by popular artists. But the big problem most people don't understand is, look, if you're going to have records and CDs that are rare and valuable, you're going to need to have a taste for obscure music, because 90% of them are from the obscure camp. They are bands you have never heard of before. They are not fucking Metallica. I've got some Metallica. Is that worth anything? No, it ain't worth fucking shit, dude. It's worth $3, probably. Like, it's worth the trade for a milkshake if your buddy really wants, your Reload album. Good for you. But it's just, people would go through my music collection that would be just Spartans in the musical sense, and they would just be like, I've never heard of like any of this stuff, dude. What where are you getting all this? And it's just like, yeah, I mean, you have to be that person. And that's the appeal for me from a personality standpoint, because obscurity is where I live. And so I insist on it with the things that I surround myself with. I do not like things that are just from anywhere, especially if I'm going to take the time to curate and collect them and keep them and spend so much time and, so much resources on them. So anyway, people just need to understand that, because I can't tell you how many times that's happened over the years. I'll start talking music with somebody, and like, I remember very briefly, there was this father and son that opened a little shop in downtown here where we lived. And they sold more than just records, but they had a handful of records. This was years ago, before the record thing took off again, too. And they sold like funky clothes and, it was almost kind of like a thrift store sort of thing. My mom told me about it because she stopped in there, and then she said, well, these guys are down there, and I told them about you, and I told them you'd be down. They said, I'll be down. I want to check out what they have. So I went down, and I thumbed through, and they're like, oh, yeah, you're the guy. Your mom stopped by. I was like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, they say you're quite the record collector. I'm just like, oh, I like what I like. And, so I went in, and I was flipping through their stuff, and I pulled out a couple of, they weren't super rare, but I pulled out a couple of unusual 80s bands, vinyls, that were from the Seattle area, because these guys had come from Seattle. And so in this stacks of vinyl that they had were these Seattle area bands that had made one-off records, indie records and things. And so those were the two things that I pulled to buy. And one of them they wanted $2 for, and the other one they wanted $3 for. And so I dropped a $5 bill plus state sales tax, which was, probably, 20 cents or whatever it is, and said, thank you very much, and walked out of the store a happy guy, because I was like, cool, I got two rather obscure, they're not really, but, one's probably worth $25. Maybe the other one's worth $40 on a good day, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm just like, I got these two records checked off, and I've always wanted to hear them. And I remember listening to them as I left the store, no fooling. I don't remember, was the kid that turned to the dad or the dad turned to the kid? I think the dad turned to the kid. Maybe it was the other way around. It doesn't really matter. And they were just like, I can't believe what he just bought. That guy is such a loser. I mean, he like skipped over the great white records that we had and the sticks. And I was just like, yeah, because they're fucking worthless, man. I mean, like,
they wanted affirmation is what they wanted.
They were kind of not cool, quite honestly. I hope they found happiness and success in something else. Their store didn't last long, but anyway, so.
Worst episode ever. And send and sip.
Way up north in Washington State, I'll be the sound by Elliott Bay. Lies a city, a beautiful city. Yes, a city by the bay. And if you lights a party of lights, Seattle is the nation's best spot. Come on, everybody, let's get down. Let's rock and roll all over the town.
Is this the state song or something?
So this is from one of the records that I just mentioned that I purchased from the Father and Son way back when, that I got duped for as far as they were concerned. Seattle band called Uncle Sam, and the song is Seattle.
Arguably more collectible than the White Snake album that they were mocking you over,
which had like 4 ragged edges and was scratched to hell, and they wanted like $11.50 for it, right?
And mass produced.
Yeah, right. And it was a Columbia House Club edition, right?
This one was stamped in the back alleys of the Emerald City and probably had some of Jimi Hendrix's DNA.
Yes, it contains a single drop of human blood in the wax.
I rest my case.
All right, I think we've rested ours for this go around.
Yes, as you continue to sip your Moo Latte, and I my FIFA Americana.
Yeah, good luck with your FIFA.
Until we meet again.
FIFA 5 Fofa Thumb. I smell hype. I'm gone.
Well, it looks like Jack and Michael have finished up their latest chat about all things existence. But if anything they said got your own Existence Brewing, be sure and catch their other talks at existencebrewing.com and drop them an email to share your thoughts using contact@existencebrewing.com.
Existence Brewing.